That's what's starting to look like mine over there.
Yeah. If you start
That's
looking like
actually
Jake's
not-
office, we
It's
got
a
a problem.
starter's,
That's actually not possible.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
We are live.
How did the game serve? For once.
Alright.
Yeah.
Good evening. There you go. Good evening, and welcome to the Village of Webster Board meeting for July 9th, 2024. If you would stand with me for the pledge, I will lead you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like at this time to ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of a fallen officer. His name was Jamison Ritter of the Cleveland Division of Police, who was shot on July 4th while serving Protect Cleveland, Ohio. He would join me, please. He was a Webster native. Join me for a moment of time. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Remember him. Okay, at this time, I would ask that we move to public comment. Open that portion of the meeting, and after that, we will move to regular business, which will include the organizational meeting. So now the floor is open for public comment. Anyone would like to address the board? Okay, I will close the public comment portion of the meeting. And we will move now to regular board business, which, first of all, is the 2024-2025 organizational meeting. The organizational meeting, we have a number of appointments and, of course, motions to make. So, first of all, I would announce that this is not an appointment that needs a vote, but it is one that simply needs my deputy to say, yes, I will act as mayor when I cannot fulfill those duties, and I wish to appoint Jerry Toledo Jr. again as deputy mayor. And now we would move to board designations. First of all, I would make a motion that Canandaigua National Bank be designated as the official bank of the Village of Webster, and also designate the Webster Herald as the official newspaper of the Village of Webster.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Usually we do all in favor, I'm sorry.
All right.
Whatever your, no, it's okay. Is that your preference? Is it okay?
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Next, we have mayor's appointments subject to approval to board. First, I would ask for a motion to reappoint Karen Buck as deputy village clerk for a term ending on July 1st, 2025. Second, a motion to reappoint Don White as village and zoning board of appeals attorney for a term that ends July 1st, 2025. And authorize the mayor to sign retainer agreements with Don White. And finally, a motion to reappoint Mark Nicholson as chairman of the zoning board of appeals, a term ending again July 1st, 2025.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have a Historic Preservation Commission and historian. And first of all, I would like to entertain a motion to reappoint Peter Elder as chairperson of the Historic Preservation Commission, a term that ends July 1st, 2025. And secondly, reappoint Ian Barton as village historian for a term ending July 1st, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Following, we have the zoning board of appeals, a motion first of all to reappoint Chris Braywitz as a member of the zoning board of appeals for a term that would end July 1st, 2029. And secondly, to reappoint David Whitlock as an alternate member of the zoning board of appeals, a term ending on July 1st, 2029.
I'll make them.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have a motion for reappointments for Parks and Recreation Committee. First of all, I would entertain a motion to reappoint Peter Elder to the Parks and Recreation Committee for a term ending July 1st, 2025. Secondly, to appoint Josh Durisso to the Parks and Recreation Committee for a term ending July 1st, 2025.
I'll read that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, the Business Improvement District, which may have a motion to appoint myself, trustee Lancy, and Bill Horace to the Business Improvement District of Directors for a term that would end July 1st, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Ethics Committee. I would like to reappoint, have a motion to reappoint trustee Ippolito, village board member, to the Ethics Committee for a term that would end July 1st, 2025. Next, reappoint Karen Buck, or appoint Karen
Yeah,
Buck.
that should be a point.
So she is done then, so we'll have.
Plus she did it from her other job.
Appoint Karen Buck, village employee, to the Ethics Committee for a term ending July 1st, 2025. And last, appoint Bill Horace, third member, village resident, to the Ethics Committee for a term ending July 1st, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I heard Carl. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have the general office. There's a motion to set the mileage reimbursement for authorized village employees traveling with their private vehicle to be 67 cents per mile.
Make that motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have for the general office, we have a motion here setting the village office hours, Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and Fridays, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. The village office will be closed on Saturday and Sunday. The office will be closed for all governmental holidays, and we have a list of them.
15.
There are.
It's pretty good. I'll make
So,
a second.
is there a motion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
We also have a motion that following Village of Webster policies, the following are adopted as written in these sections of the policy manual and employee handbook. And they shall be effective July 1st, 2024. They are the procurement policy, section 5-2N, and the fund balance policy, dash 5-2. You have those in your packet, and I will not reiterate them.
They already did the fund balance policy.
Well,
I thought we were supposed to, like, anything in the year up to this point, we were supposed to put in there, just to make sure, okay.
I
We've
think,
done that in past
I
years.
think the procurement policy is the only one that state law requires
Every year, right?
every year.
Okay, so in the past years, I have put anything we've changed up to that point, so I cannot do that if that's not supposed to be.
You haven't changed the fund balance policy from a month or two ago.
No,
No.
I just thought we were supposed to reiterate anything that's been changed.
Right,
Okay,
yeah, you don't really need to do that.
okay. I will change that for next year.
So there's a motion to adopt the procurement policy.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have village meetings. They are conducted according to section 22-2 of the policy manual. Regular village board meetings will be the second and fourth Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. Meetings of the zoning board of appeals will be on the third Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. That will take effect next month, is that correct?
Yes, so they're moving from the Tuesday to
Tuesday to Thursday, correct. The village board workshop meetings will be on the first or last Tuesday of every other month at 6 o'clock, but only as needed. In the event that the village board meeting is moved to a Tuesday, the meeting will start at 6 p.m. And obviously there was one exception, and that was today. Next we also would have under village meetings a change of the following meeting dates. Village board meetings, 6 p.m. start time July 10th moves to July 8th, 2025. September 11th of 2025 moves to September 9th. November 27th of 2025 moves to November 25th. And the village will have one meeting during the month of December, which will take place Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 at 7 p.m. I have a motion.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Next, we have a list of village board liaison assignments. They were made available and all of you, so I will not read them through, but if there is anybody who wishes to speak to them at this particular time, I'll entertain that. But otherwise, I will put this motion before you to accept these board liaison assignments as they are currently written here.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Oh, and then the charities is until 2029.
What is?
The liaisons, yeah, they're until 2029.
2029.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We do have to stay here, sorry.
We'll see what Peter does.
He might do
Attendance
that,
at
he might do that.
conferences is our next, almost end of our annual organizational meeting. And this is a motion to authorize village officials and employees to attend the following conferences or training schools as listed below. This would be Nikon Fall Training School, up to 2 staff members, Public Works School, 1 staff member, Nikon Annual Meeting, Mayor, Highway School, up to 2 staff members, Lamoa Conference, up to 2 staff members, and the NCFMIA Fire Inspectors Training, up to 2 staff members. I believe that will then be further identified as to the members as the year goes on.
Yes, sir.
We're asking for approval for that now.
Like it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Our next organizational meeting is a motion to approve the organizational meeting occurring on Tuesday, July 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. prior to the regularly scheduled building board meeting. That should be because this is a change from that date.
Right. Isn't it supposed to be July 8th?
I think Jay just said that, sorry.
Yes, it is. That would be Tuesday, July 8th, as we just approved the changes to Thursdays and Tuesdays. 2025 at 6 o'clock. That motion says July 8th. When, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. That ends our annual organizational meeting. I would, before we move on, we have approved Tom White as being our lawyer for ourselves and for the zoning board. He has a retainer agreement before me, and I would ask for approval to sign this for the retainer agreement for the zoning board of appeals and to bill the Webster Village a flat fee of $4,290.98.
I'd like to send it to Richard Reader review.
Excuse
Yeah,
me, Don,
board.
Don, you're being summoned.
I bet he's not listening.
He doesn't answer. That's okay.
They would like to discuss your,
Not a discussion, we just said it for $2,000.
We should get a discount or something.
What happened to the fee schedule? Did you blow by that?
Yeah. Daryl.
Well, we'll come back to it, because it is proposed and it's separate, so.
Well, that's, it was in my packet before the retainer agreement.
It was.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't.
Well, see, I don't have any agenda that includes any of that.
Well, that's true.
Therefore,
I
I
don't
can do
either.
it in any order I
I
wish.
understand that.
No consequences.
Oh, gee.
So anyways, I have a motion here for approval of the village to retain Donald White as.
you already did it, it's right here, sir. It's in the organizational meeting.
Yeah, you read
For
it. She
you
is,
to
You already
sign.
did it.
you did.
Oh,
That was the
And
number two.
then, yeah,
And
it
the
was
fees.
part of the other motion
It was.
to authorize the mayor to sign.
doesn't say out there.
It's
But I will.
got, it's got
I will sign
automatic,
anyways.
it's got automatic renewal for 15 years.
I-
Thank you very much.
Personally, I feel like we're getting a bargain with Don.
Yes, I do believe that staff was done between half hours.
That hasn't changed. Probably a big thing.
Oh, look at that, she makes it on the shelf.
That's just the clerk you have, you know? Then,
Yes, we need to have a motion to approve the, because we tabled this, the 2024-25 proposed fee schedule. It was modified and it was tabled until this meeting, so.
The only, so
Change.
there is one modification under residential fees, the one at the very top for the building permit. It should say for all residential construction, including townhouses. Because there was a discrepancy internally as to whether townhouses were commercial or residential. And the superintendent of public works deems them to be residential. Right? People do live in them. So just so there's no question in the future about
That's very
which,
good.
you know, whether it's 30 cents a square foot versus 20 cents a square foot.
Which page was that on?
Just the very first one, on the very first page, building department residential fees, just the very top, for all residential construction,
Okay.
including townhouses.
Got it.
There's an actual distinguishment between, let's say, a 5 or 20 like apartment complex
Right.
versus residential or townhouse.
Well, I think apartments are different. An apartment is different than
Yeah.
a townhouse.
Yeah.
Residential construction.
A townhouse is a single-family home that just has a common wall to its neighbor. Whereas an apartment, you know, they're
Common walls and floors.
right, but a townhouse doesn't have common floors.
I have no problem with that, but, then it would be a proposal of accepting the fee schedule in 2024 with that change, which would be under residential fees. First item for all residential construction, including townhouses.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Trustee Abolito?
Oh, now we're going back to that way. Aye.
Do you want to do all in favor?
No, aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Maybe we'll let Matthews send so we can get on access.
Sure. Could have, good. Would you like to discuss
Yeah.
Reimagine Webster Initiative?
That's next.
No,
Well-
I just want to get you out here, just sit here and listen to us.
Sure.
I mean, it's very fun and fun, right?
Thought you might have good for questions.
Thank you, Matt Chatfield, Executive Director of the Webster Economic Development Alliance. I can project, it's okay.
Whack
I don't know if anybody else can hear me. I'd like to give a quick, what I handed out to you is just a very brief, I would say a select overview of the Reimagine Webster Initiative, which is the Brownfields Opportunity Area Program. We're gonna bring in the consultants in a month or two as the full project is finally, completed. The development of the master plan and the nomination study that we'll send to the state. So I'm gonna give you a select update on that project today. Next slide, please. So just a brief overview. What is the BOA program? It's an area-wide revitalization planning study. Think of it as a mini comprehensive plan for a select area of the community, largely impacted by what we would perceive as potential brownfield site potential, the perception of potential contamination. We selected a area within our community, next slide please, that focuses on a good portion of the Xerox complex, basically the spine of Phillips Road, west side of Phillips Road, east side of Phillips Road. It's about a 560-acre complex or area that we focused on. We spent 18 months working towards the development of a master plan. How are we going to reimagine this component of our community? It was a joint town and village effort. Next slide, please. And it's a two-step process. It does cross the municipal boundary, so we did have the town execute a memorandum of understanding that they are a party to the project, although they didn't contribute any of the 10% matching funds, but they are a party to the project because it crosses into their municipal boundary. So the two-step process is, we start with the plan first, we're almost done with that. That's the $200,000 funding award that was awarded in 2022. The study was largely completed in 2023. The next step is where we are today, right? We're preparing for these next steps. We are going to be submitting a request to the state for additional funding, for additional plans and studies in a much more detailed area on specific parts of the study area. And we are eligible to submit a request for up to $500,000, which is a 90% funds from the state, 10% match from the locality. So that funding request is part of the Consolidated Funding Application Program. It happens every year. This year, the funding applications are due July 31st. Next slide, please. We are going to be submitting a grant request for approaching $500,000 for 3 separate projects. That's what's stated in your resolution. You can go next. The study area has all these little strategic sites, right? Little, larger. The focus of the broader study was what we call the West Complex, right? 80-acre site was identified, smack dab in the middle here. It's what we've identified as a location for future mixed-use housing, some multifamily housing, some retail, maybe some entertainment, right? That's going to be a new mixed-use neighborhood. We've also identified improvements that we want to see on Commercial Street, on Diamond Street, as well as other improvements potentially on the town's recreation center, on the town's rec complex. Next slide, please. All of this stemmed from a market analysis that was conducted by professional economists and real estate consultants. They identified the largest single economic opportunity within the study areas for the development of new housing. It wasn't for the development of new office space, wasn't for the development of new industrial, wasn't for the development of a hotel, maybe potentially a restaurant associated with maybe some housing in a mixed-use area, but the largest economic opportunity was for housing, and a mixture of housing. Next slide, please. All sorts of demand for housing: senior housing, single-family, multifamily, affordable. That's why the study, in large part, focused on that central hub of the 80 acres at the West Complex. Next slide. It's easier to see on your handout, and even better, it'll be easier to see when I give you, a more robust and large version. There we go. So the real focus of today's discussion is Commercial and Diamond Streets and the future of those. That's the funding request that we were going to be putting forth on behalf of the village in the next few weeks, is for the design of, the redesign of those corridors, including some streetscape enhancements. Next slide, please. Right. So the study identified a series of improvements to enhance pedestrian connectivity and to also enhance just the look and feel of these corridors. They just tend to be a little forgotten, right? And I think a lot of the roadways themselves are basically past their useful life. I think if anyone's driven down Diamond, especially, they would agree that the road is in need of some assistance. So the next steps are to hire engineers and designers to further refine the redesign of these corridors, basically from the ground up. So next slide, please. And also, in addition, some new information has sort of come to light as part of the Reimagine Webster initiative. There was some additional budget remaining at pretty much the 90% mark of the study. So we went out, our consultants asked us, is there anything else that you would like to spend the budget on? Because in reality, the state already gave us the money, so we might as well spend the money. It was only a matter of maybe about $17,000 of extra funds that we spent. One of those things that we did was we did some additional analysis. We hired a landscape architect to do additional analysis of this potential open space at the terminus of Donovan Park, south of Orchard Street, and at the terminus of Donovan Park. And the idea was, how can we make this a new public open space? The master plan had already sort of set it aside as a public open space, but it didn't really have much of an identity. So we asked the landscape architects to give us an identity for that, and what came of that was a park dedicated to, like, not really the history, but an interpretive element of the Hojack Trail and the Hojack Railroad. Next slide. So, and I'll deliver this electronically. As part of this, these extra fees, we sat down with the landscape architects and identified some conceptual elements that we thought would be well received within the community for this conceptual and potential new public park within the village. It would have a covered shelter, a playground area, and then would also have maybe some potential for conceptually interpretive rail cars, right? Actually on rails. That those rail cars though could be play equipment, climbing equipment, it could be a stage on which a band could perform, right? Just really thinking how do we use old rail cars and repurpose them for something within a recreational center. That would be on the eastern component of that site.
You could put the old baggage depot in there too.
We could probably recreate it in an interpretive way, right? rather than we wouldn't probably rebuild that exact structure, but we could use components of it, or at least the actual design and the scale of it might work well.
We got plenty of wood just for that purpose.
So
That's a bold.
there's been a lot of discussion for a long time about a recreational amenity north of 104 in this area, and part and parcel with the potential development of 700 to 800 housing units on that west complex site. The new neighborhood's going to need new open space, right, to help support that part of the community. And this is kind of the concept that's being kicked around currently.
Traffic studies?
Traffic studies. We have not done a traffic study for that. No. Traffic study for what, Jay?
Just, it's a lot.
Oh, regarding the housing units?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that's part of the next steps. Absolutely. So these are just some graphics of what that park could look like. Go to the next slide. Right, there's an open space with those rail cars, and just right now it's just conceptual. But the idea, I think, had a lot of it. There's the Hojack Trail on the left-hand side. Phillips Road would be behind you for that. Next slide. And just some additional. So, like I said, this is a very targeted summary of this project. The next steps of what we're going to ask the state for is funding for up to about we have about $287,000 in transportation, engineering, and landscape architecture services associated with Commercial Street and Donovan Street. So that's the next request on behalf of the village. In addition to that, a separate project that's going to be sponsored by the town of Webster is for the extension of Chiota Drive and a new trail along Chiota. So Chiota Drive would then extend from Route 250 to Phillips Road. So that project, roughly $180,000, the 10% matching funds for that is being covered by the town. They have already signed, they've already executed their resolution, their town board resolution to that effect. And then there's going to be an additional third project that the Alliance is going to sponsor that will cover the 10% for a feasibility study for a performing, wouldn't call it a performing arts center, but more like a music concert venue on that West Complex site. So just trying to understand, is there any commercial viability to that idea? We've been approached by several concert promoters looking for a site. The next step we're going to undertake is, does it financially pencil out so that we can move forward? The Alliance will cover the 10% match for that. So that's why your resolution reflects those other additional elements. But the only request from the village, from a matching dollars perspective, if they were awarded the funding, would be roughly $29,000 in matching funds. And that would take those projects of Commercial and Donovan all the way up until just basically pre-bid documents, right? We'd have, all the analysis would be done, cost estimates would be done, seeker would be completed, and then we'd have to find sources of construction funds, but all of that soft cost pre-development work would be completed. I bounced around a little bit. I talked a lot. Any questions?
You submitted in July?
We hit the submit button no later than July 31st.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is this sufficient background for why we're submitting the grant?
And when are the awards supposed to be
I
made?
mean, typically, the last slide had it, but typically, we submit in July, award might be in December. You know, project would start in spring of '25. By the time you get under contract with the Department of State, that's the anticipated. Concurrent with that, we are also going to be submitting the current document the final document to the state for their acceptance. So that's also going to be taking place here in the next few months to go through that process, because they will not award us these funds unless they've actually accepted our study, our master plan. And it's really more of just a formal process. It's not them actually having to approve and modify what we've done. We just need to go through the steps, but that can take 6 months alone. So we're going to be doing some things concurrently prior to getting this phase 2 underway.
Thank you.
Yes.
Like,
Great. Appreciate that, Matt.
Very, very.
it's soil like there around that area. Is there, oil, like the end of Donovan Street where it is now,
There is no,
gas, oil, all that stuff?
we currently have no information that would indicate there is any contamination in that area.
Good. Yeah,
Thank you, Matt.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So that will lead me to
Great report.
change the order of this. So we just heard information regarding this particular project, and you have before you to an opportunity area Village of Webster Board of Trustees resolution. It says here that whereas the Village of Webster deems that it is in the public interest and benefit to enter into a contract therewith, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Webster Board of Trustees as follows. Number one, Darrell Mayor is representative authorized to act on behalf of all applicants and all matters related to the state assistance under section 970-R of the General Municipal Law for the project. Secondly, that the applicant and co-applicants intend to complete pre-development activities to advance development of the following projects identified and described within the reimagined Webster Brownfield Opportunity Area. A, design improvements for Commercial Street and Donovan Street. And 3, the applicant requests funds in the amount of $258,300 for project A above, representing no more than 90% of the total project cost, $164,700 for project B above, representing no more than 90% of the total project cost, and $67,500 for project C above, representing no more than 90% of the total project cost, for a total funding request of $490,500. Or the applicant agrees that it will fund the applicant's 10% share of project A, that the town of Webster co-applicant agrees that it will fund the co-applicant's 10% share of project B, And Rita, as co-applicant, agrees that it will fund 10%, co-applicant's 10% share of project C. The applicant is actively finalizing the Reimagine Webster Brownfield Opportunity Area Nomination Study and will seek official designation of the Brownfield Opportunity Area by the Secretary of State upon completion of the nomination. And that this authorization will take place effective immediately. So I will make the motion that we
To authorize the grant application that you just
correct.
articulated.
Correct.
I'll second. There.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Correct.
Great application, Matt, and great way for us to work cooperatively together with the town, and Rita, and for the efforts you've been putting in. Look forward to seeing how things go.
Good job.
Great, thank you.
See you, man.
Annette?
Tomorrow evening, we ask as many board members as possible to be here at 7 o'clock for the project submission. Many others can come in.
I can't.
It'll be too wet to be at craft beer night, so might as well come
Yeah. I'm going to Peters for dinner. I won't be.
I'm going to.
You?
I'll be here.
Reservations are at what, 5? 2.
You have different reservations at Peter's house.
It gets pretty busy there.
That's true.
You're
Very
just having a
true.
grand opening deck party.
Right, that's right, that has to happen.
Oh, and holding out on us, Peter.
Well, if you want, we'll do it.
All right,
Yes.
next we have on our schedule, as it changes from moment to moment. We have a resolution to approve minutes from the June 27th, 2024 meeting. You have those in front of you. I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion to
Second.
change.
I'll second.
I, what,
The minutes.
nothing. Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy? Mayor Byers? Motion passes.
Aye.
Okay.
Next, we have a resolution to approve the claims and warrants. I had an opportunity to look through them, and I did not find anything that I would necessarily bring up that hadn't been chosen.
I didn't find anything.
Make it.
That's the motion to approve.
I'll make it.
Second.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Lauer?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy? Mayor Byers?
Aye.
You know, she's ignoring that she gets really low voice, really low on.
We have already covered item number 4, so we will move now to budget modifications. You see quite a list of them. These are budget mods for the year 2023 to 2024. Looks like this is end of the year bookkeeping, and I do believe that auditors are going to begin coming in, taking a look at everything within the next week or two, so. I don't know if you necessarily need me to go through them all, but
No, we don't.
I'm just asking, making you aware of these budget mods and the reasons for them.
Thanks.
but we will keep you apprised of the bookkeeping that they will be coming in to do. And we should be in good shape, I do believe.
And I did mention to the treasurer that, she understands that you don't need to see a 100 to 100 or 400 to 400, but she just wants you guys to be aware of everything that's going on, so.
No, I think it's good that it's there. I just say, we don't need to read
Right.
to the people.
We don't need to read it all, but
Yes.
we need to see it.
Yes.
Yes, but last time there was some saying, well, why are we putting this on here when that doesn't actually need a vote?
I think you misunderstood.
No, I know, the last time, 2 meetings ago. They didn't like it, because technically you don't need to approve 100 to 100 or 4, if it's within that little thing. But she just wanted me to let you know, the reason she's doing that is so you have the whole picture.
Right now, you're speaking by initial.
And there's a degree of transparency to this, which I think is also.
But you do have to do 100 to 100 if they're different, the 4 digits. You know, if it's like an 8120 to an 8110, it's,
Yes.
that you have to do, but if
Yes.
it's, yeah. If it's 8120, 101, and 100, then it's, if they're both 81.
Yes, thank you.
We are at this point, I do believe. Asking if the clerk, or the clerk has anything else to take it up to discuss.
Nope, I'm really happy. It's all my language for today.
Check you off. Okay, how about Don? Anything that you would like to bring to us?
I really don't have anything other than to thank the board for the reappointment. I do enjoy working with the village and all of its staff, including the clerk.
Oh no, what'd you say? I'll play the tape back, what was it?
It was a compliment.
Oh, okay.
And as I think the mayor alluded to, we did have a meeting this morning where we're finalizing the agreement with Xerox. Well, we got to see if Xerox is going to agree for taking over their roads, Mitchell Dean, Orchard, and Panama. We've completely, basically redone what they proposed to us, and hopefully by the end of this week, it's going to go back to Xerox, and all of us will be interested to see how Xerox responds.
Exactly.
You know, 'cause it includes the 6 or 7 acres that,
Yes.
the park that you just approved the grant for, that, you know,
Perfect.
for
Yep.
Xerox to give the village that land. So we'll see, which they're aware of. They're aware of that a park's being proposed for there. I'm not sure it sinks into that they still own the land, but we'll see what happens.
It'll be very interesting how they react to the whole thing. Since the initial proposal that they made was entirely Xerox looking at what should we do around the village. Okay. Seemingly here it has been brought to my attention that the budget and budget modifications need to be approved. Is that correct? So I am asking for a motion and a second to approve the budget modification
Can you read them again?
and the budget.
Don't.
Each one.
I'll make that one.
I'll
Thank
second
you.
it.
Thank you very much.
Trustee Lauer,
Aye.
I'm switching seats.
seconded by trustee Alito and trustee Lancy. Trustee Belkane.
Aye.
Trustee Lauer,
Aye.
Mayor Beck.
Aye.
Motion passes.
One of these times I'm gonna hurt myself.
Have that back.
Well, now, the moment we have been waiting expectantly for, Department of Public Works.
Bated breath.
kind of lead up, I don't know what to do now. Obviously, we're doing brush pickup this week, carnivals this week. And we're gonna be helping out again with the parade, blocking, certain side roads. And with every vehicle we have, and maybe some borrowed ones, the towns, highways, we take the major intersections and, four corners and ends of the parade route, annual drive. So it's a really good community effort, to get all that done. I think last time we spoke, the gutters were getting wrapped up on, Catherine Court, in anticipation of that paving project that's scheduled, weather permitting, for Millet next Monday and Cave Wednesday. And Wednesday seems like a very popular day for everybody in the county, so we're working on trucks with our partners, right now. I think that's it.
Thanks for the walk in the streets with vehicles, that's
Yeah.
Oh, really?
safe.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of people out there, and keep everybody safe, and let them enjoy the parade.
I would remind everyone that tomorrow night, there is a meeting for New York Forward at 7 o'clock. It is a call for projects, so if there's anyone out there who wishes to come in and follow through with the application, call for project, welcome to do so. That would be tomorrow night here, 7 o'clock, in the village boardroom. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you for watching and attending, and we will see you in 2 weeks and 2 days.
Daryl, thank you.
Have you seen the, plan of the road there going on? Yeah. You know, covers all that.